And Charlie Duke is there. Now, Charlie is an astronaut. I'm sure you're aware of who he is, but there's not many of our astronauts left. They've passed due to old age and things like that, and he's one of the few left that have actually can say he walked on the moon. How cool is that? Just think of the number of people on this planet and the number of people that have walked on the moon. And we're lucky enough to have him here in Mitchell.
I've always been a big Charlie Duke fan. His anniversary is on my birthday. He's a personal hero of mine, and I've read his books. I've followed his career. When I got interested in the moon when I was a kid, I started following his career, and he's a real stand-up guy, and he was always my favorite astronaut. And I just met him. I didn't want to cry, but for some reason I did. It was very special for me to finally meet him.
That really humbles me when people are affected that way by what we did, you know, so many years ago. And it's just amazing that the influence that you can have on that next generation to follow, and to have that opportunity to be an example for so many people has just been a blessing.
He's a stand-up guy. He's a man of character, and he's also into math and science. And you know, a lot of girls don't have a lot of people to look up to. And even though he was a male, I always admired his work, and I'm a math teacher now.
Just so delighted to be here with my wife Dorothy. We have enjoyed the hospitality, especially. Everybody's been so friendly and nice, and so it's just a blessing being here this weekend. Lancaster was just a little bit bigger than Mitchell when I was growing up. It was a town that lived off of a cotton mill, a huge cotton mill, and employed most of the people in town. And of course, when it shut down, the town went into a big decline, but is climbing back out now. It was a great town to grow up in because everybody knew everybody, and it was very friendly, and a town that people all looked after one another, which I'm sure Mitchell's the same. At college, I fell in love with airplanes. I was at the Naval Academy. I decided to go to the Naval Academy because my dad was in the Navy during World War II, and they were my heroes, that great generation, as Brokaw calls it. And so I went to the Naval Academy, but fell in love with airplanes rather than ships, and so I could volunteer for the Air Force back in those days, and I did. And shortly after that, I was in flight school, and Sputnik went up, the first satellite, and so I began to think about, we're in a new age. I didn't think I had any chance to participate in it at that point, but then again, 2 years later, Gus and the other 6 of the first 7 were selected, and the astronaut program started. Well, anyway, it was just a set of decisions on my part to go back to school, the Air Force program, and then meet some astronauts who were very excited about their job. And so I applied for test pilot school. After that, NASA said, well, we're looking for more astronauts, please apply. So it was just planning, sort of planning my career, not focusing directly on astronaut program, but that's the way it turned out. Of course, I knew Gus when I got to the space program. I was, of course, introduced to him, and we were astronauts together. He was one of the senior guys when I got there, so we really respected him. He was a great mentor for me, and I got there in April '66. He was killed in January '67, so we were only 9 months, 10 months together. But he was a wonderful man, and a very good, wonderful leader to follow.